So once we get into the technology, we need to be able to trust what is it that the issuers were doing when they actually issued these things. Maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, it's critical that we know who we're talking to, and then as part of that, at least in the context of what we're doing for DSCSA, that we're proving the right, elements to give a credential that represents ATP status. So that due diligence can't just be a number, right, that you're looking at, or a name that you're looking at. It has to go deeper than that. And so when we realized early on that that was going to be, a significant challenge, then it was a matter of, how do we conquer that challenge, and then how do we do it in a way that we can point back to some type of standard. And when we did that research, we basically landed on, and I think it's been referenced a few times, a NIST standard, right? The National Institute of Standards and Technology, and the work they've done, and in looking at where we would fit in to those different assurance levels, we landed on the identity assurance level 2, and basically or IAL 2, and basically what that does is it allows us to, with a very high degree of confidence, say, okay, we've aligned these processes, these checks, to make sure that we can not necessarily have to meet one-on-one, right, in person with somebody, but we can make sure with a very high degree of reliability that we know who we're talking to, we've collected certain information, done these certain checks through this process, and therefore we can say this is who they say they are. And then moving past that to then say, okay, now we know that we're dealing with a company we were expecting to deal with. Now, for the purpose of an ATP credential, making sure that we've gathered the right information to say, yes, this is their, say, board of pharmacy number, right, for a dispenser. That it's, because that's information that people can get to. It's fairly easy to get to, actually, right? And so you don't want to say, oh, this is a good license number, but it doesn't belong to this identity. And so we're able to then further those processes in the due diligence, to make sure that, okay, now we know not only who we believe we're talking to, but that they have control over and own that particular, say, again, the board of pharmacy license for that dispenser. So that's really what we're making sure of, is that we can trust that whole process. And of course, for an issuer of credentials, it's important that the industry trust us. And so aligning with the OCI guidance, we've made sure to say, okay, these are the things that the issuer has to go third-party audit to make sure we're doing what we say we're doing, and that kind of stuff.